All I know is bad surgery. So the first time she was going in, I'm like, please don't do it. Like, you're going to end up looking crazy.
Hardest part about being young parents. And I'm like, are you
That's
dumb?
not something you need.
You bond to us by us stressing y'all out.
Honestly, I mean, that's why you see a lot of times, like...
How do you guys keep up with intimacy? I feel like every long-term relationship, it becomes routine. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. I feel like I've told them that I'm gonna do a Q&A with you. Forever ago. Do you remember when I said that in a video? I think like 6 months ago. I was like, I think I did my own Q&A and I was like, guys, I'm not gonna answer any questions about Mel because we're just gonna do a Q&A together.
6 months later.
6 months later. But we're here. That's all that matters. You know what, babe? I was like actually watching like a lot of our old videos. Like I just like to watch a lot of my old videos. It's kind of like having this like online diary. And it's just so crazy to see how things have changed and how different like we are like emotionally, physically, how different our lives have become. Like so much has changed. Yeah,
so much, literally. I mean, we're full-grown adults now. We got a lot of responsibilities.
If you guys like have been with us for that long, like that's so crazy. Like I was watching our like, I think we did like boyfriend. Just to even call you my boyfriend is like so weird. Boyfriend, because you were like a boyfriend for so little of my life. Like I'm used to saying my husband. You know, and you weren't even like a fiance.
I know, everything was like boom, 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 boom.
The first ever video we did was like our boyfriend tag video, and then we did a Q&A shortly after. We had Kayvon. So like, it just things have changed. If you guys are new here, by the way, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and also give this video a big thumbs up because that lets us know that you guys actually like these videos and you guys want to see more of them. But yeah.
We haven't done a sit-down video in a long time.
I mean, know. You've been doing
like,
this feels weird.
You've been doing it a little bit more recently, but it's been a long time since we sat down like this.
But we did the podcast. You guys were loving Mel on the podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate that, of course.
People were loving you.
Yeah.
Feeling yourself.
It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, if you guys are new here, Mel and I started dating. He's 3 years older than me, so I was 18, he was 21. And now we are 25, and you're gonna be 28? No, 29.
Yeah, getting old.
Okay, old hag.
That's not even old though. Like the older I get, the more I realize that 30 is not old at all.
Yeah, it really isn't. No, 30 is so young. And the thing is, like, Mel and I, our birthdays are like 3 weeks apart. So he's gonna turn 29, and then a few weeks later, I'm gonna turn 26. That's crazy.
We're getting up there.
We're getting up there.
It just sounds mature, but it definitely is not old by any means.
Yeah, and we have 3 kids now. So again, this is all for people who are new. We have a 4.5-year-old, and then we have 2-year-old twins. Yeah. So it's a busy house.
Hands are full, as people always say in public.
They love
you got your hands full. I'm like, yeah.
Or they'll tell us to buy a TV. I've had that happen twice.
Really?
As in, like, find something else to do other than make children.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, this old lady was like, "Girl, buy a TV." I was like,
"That's some old people stuff to say." I would be like, what does that even mean? They love saying that you got your hands full. I bet they keep you busy.
I know, I bet like, they keep you busy.
Yeah.
Like Mel and I will be like on the verge of tears in public because the kids are acting right, and then an old person's gonna come up like,
yeah, twins, you got a handful, you got a whole baseball team there. I'm like, thanks. That really helps a lot in this situation.
Before we move on with the rest of this Q&A, I just wanted to sit down and have a little one-on-one chit-chat with you guys. You know, this Q&A is about relationships, and like Mel and I mentioned, we've both been together for so long. Like we mentioned, like, you know, the kids, moving across the country, just having so much more on our plate. Like there just has been so many life changes, so many big events. And, you know, with me, the hormonal changes that came with having 2 pregnancies, having twins, the postpartum period, there's just been so much that I just feel like sometimes, like in my mind, like I can just feel so cluttered and overstimulated and so overwhelmed. Hello?
Hi, can I please speak with the parents of Kayvon with?
Yes. Like I said, when you're a parent, guys, hold on, I gotta call Mel. It's not a big deal. It's just something that I have to update him about. I think something that's so important in relationships and when you're parenting with someone is having clear communication, having patience, having grace, and also just having the tools to navigate any of the hardships that comes your way. With that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, which is BetterHelp. I've been using this service on and off for some time now, and whenever I start using them again, I'm like, Naz, you just need to stay consistent. I swear, having a therapist just helps to give you tools, to give you more clarity, just more guidance. And also it's just nice to have that neutral, like third party to give you perspective on your situation. Because, sometimes I feel like, I know I'm not burdening my friends, but sometimes I hate to feel like I'm burdening my friends. Or if any of you guys are in relationships, then you guys know how it is. When you want to, vent about your partner, you might forgive your partner, but like whoever you vented to, your best friend, your sister, your mom, like they're going to remember the negative things. They're not going to remember, you guys working it out. They're not going to be there to see all that. They're going to remember all the negative things that you told them. So I think in relationships, it's so great to just like have that neutral third party to speak to confide in. And again, it just helps you just gain extra tools in your toolbox for navigating, life's hardships. If you guys have never heard of BetterHelp, they're the world's largest therapy platform and they are 100% online. So that's one thing I love. I love the flexibility. You can speak to your therapist from the comfort of your home. You can video chat, you can text, you can call, and I love that it's on your time. And another thing that I love is that you can easily swap out therapists. So let's say you get matched with someone and you guys aren't vibing, you can easily get matched to another therapist. They have a network of over 30,000 therapists, so there definitely is somebody for you. And on top of that, BetterHelp has a clinical team and a rigorous vetting process to ensure that your therapist meets their licensing and experience needs to help increase your chances of finding the perfect therapist. Therapy is just such a great way to improve your life. Again, I am the queen of excuses. I'm like, well, I have kids, I'm busy, I'm that. Like with BetterHelp, there's no excuses anymore. And that's definitely something I'm gonna work on in 2025, and that's improving my mental health. It's so easy to just focus on your like physical well-being and your physical health, and it's easy to neglect what's on the inside. So again, I love with BetterHelp, they just make it so easy and simple to connect with the therapist. And on top of that, you guys can actually get 10% off your first month using my code. I'll put it on the screen as well as in the description box down below. Or you guys can sign up using my link and then click my channel name on the drop-down menu, and you guys can get 10% off your first month. So definitely make sure you guys take advantage of that. Again, link down below. And now let's get back to the Q&A. But anyways, we asked you guys over on Instagram to send over your questions, and we got some good ones. So let's see what people have to say. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. I just screenshotted a bunch, so I don't even know what I have screenshotted anymore. Hardest part about being young parents?
I guess the hardest part would be the FOMO.
Yeah.
Really. Because outside of that, it's not really anything too hard because, we're in a blessed situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that FOMO really is the hardest part, and that's not even really that major for us. I feel like
our situation is just like very lucky. Like we both kind of like work for ourselves. Like my parents are super hands-on, which helps. So, and now that we have all three kids in school now. So like right now, like that's why we're able to film this right now. We try to film on the weekend and it was not happening. So like just to have that like luxury of being able to like sit down midday and film together, like that's something we haven't had in a very long time. I just think the hardest thing about being young parents, I think just the hardest thing about being a parent in general is just juggling all the different hats that you have to wear, juggling like you can't always do the things that you want when you want to do it. And I think that's one thing that I really miss before having kids. You have other responsibilities before you can do the things that like you want to do. And I think that's
I mean, it really is a double-edged sword because at the same time, like, we love our weekends with the kids, like, we love spending time with them and all that stuff, but then there's also, like, a point where you're looking on social media and I'm like, man, I'm jealous of some of my friends who can go to the gym for 3 hours and, like, there's nothing, like, to rush home to, or they're not on a time crunch because their kids are getting out of school. But other than that, I don't think that there's anything that really is, like, negative about it.
To me, having my children outweighs that. Like, okay, I went on my walk at a not ideal time. I'd rather have my 3 kids. Than be able to go on my walk at like a more normal time. You know what I mean?
That's why it's like nothing really too negative, because at the end of the day, I'm so glad that we have like our happy, healthy kids. So I take that over anything.
I think for me especially though, like having kids so young, it's crazy because like none of our friends had kids before we got pregnant. Like we were kind of the first, I feel like, of our like, oh wait, one of my hairs is stuck in your hat.
Are you wearing my hat?
No. Is it my hair?
Ew.
Is it my hair?
Yes. It's either yours or Moochie's.
I mean, I think also with being a young parent, like again, I got pregnant so young. I got pregnant at 20. Again, none of our friends have had kids yet. Like, it wasn't even like things I was seeing yet. Like, I haven't seen anybody go through pregnancy. Like, I didn't even hear anybody really talking about pregnancy. So I was just kind of going in it so blindly. And now it's like you see so many situations, you hear so many different horror stories. Like, now that I think back on it, like, I would have had so much more fear getting pregnant. Yes, because like I went in it so like ignorant. Like, I didn't.
think also with the amount of horror stories you hear an incredible amount of like miracle and happy
not just
stories
horror,
too.
but you know what I mean. Like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like I just got pregnant. Like, it wasn't planned. Like, it's just kind of we did it, and it's like, okay, like you're pregnant, have a baby, and it's like me being so type A. I think I've gone even more type A now. Like, the fact that I just went into that with like no plan, no nothing. I didn't even have an OB yet. Like, that's just so unlike me.
I think it was good though.
It's so unlike me.
It was good in hindsight for that specific thing, like having a kid, and for us to be kind of ignorant our first time, because once like you bring your kid home and it's actually in your life, all your expectations go out the window. Like, everything that we were saying we wouldn't do or that we're not going to do or we want to avoid as parents, sometimes it just happens. So it's better to just kind of go with the flow and learn as you go. Obviously have some sort of like knowledge beforehand, like we took a class, but I think when you like put the expectations too high, you're going to be let down, because you learn that as being a parent. Don't set expectations.
Like I mentioned before, I just turned 25. Well, I'm about to turn 26, but like I turned 25 this year, and that's the age where your brain clicks. So I just see things differently now. Like, I look back on that and I'm just like, so many like things that we were doing, I'm just like, there was no thought, no plan. Like, if I had a little sister, I'd be like, are you dumb? Just because, like,
I mean, you learn as you go through life.
Babe, we weren't trying to get pregnant, and I wasn't on birth control.
I know.
Come on. Like, now, like, as a grown woman, I look back and I'm like, are you
That's
dumb?
not something you need to be grown to know. We learned that in middle school in health class.
But that's what I'm saying. Are you dumb? Not that I regret. Like, I love my children so much, but I look back on it and I'm just like, what? Like, things happen.
I mean, that's why you guys need to be safe out there. If you're not, especially if you're not in a place where you can bring a child to the world, be safe. It's easier to be safe.
Oh, someone said they're a fire sign wife and their husband is a water sign, which is like us. I'm a Sagittarius. He is a Scorpio. Oh, I thought she was going to ask a question. She said, I have the same dynamic. I love it, but girl. No, I mean, she's right. I think now I will say, because Mel's not really as much into zodiac as me, obviously, but I will say I feel like Scorpios are the spicier of the water signs. I don't think a Cancer man could handle me. I don't think a Pisces man could handle me.
As we have a Pisces sun.
As we have a Pisces sun. I do think Mel.
Guys, my knowledge of zodiac is very surface level. So I like try and pretend in conversation like, oh, you're a Virgo. And if I don't know personally a Virgo in my life, I'm not going to be able to be like, oh, you're like this, you're like that. So I'm very surface level. This is her realm, if you will.
I just think, like, again, look at fire and look at water. The two together don't really mesh that well. But I do think Mel has a lot of fire in him. He's a Leo moon. He's a Sagittarius Venus.
And I'll put out your flame.
Why would you want to put out my flame? You should want to protect, like, when you light something, like, this is what you should do with my flame, not put it out. You see this?
Well, I'm the one who has to deal with your flame, so I want to put it out sometimes.
I love you.
Love you too. Maybe a little.
A little what? Guys, if you've ever watched that movie, that kids movie, Elemental, please watch it. It is so cute. But literally the main character is a fire sign. Like, it's a fire, like the element fire is the main character. And she's like this foreign girl. Her parents immigrated here, owns like a shop. Mm-hmm. Literally my life story. And then the water sign named Wade. Mel's last name. Literally his name is Wade. Mm-hmm. They end up having like a love story. And I'm like, is this movie us?
It is.
It's us. Someone asked me specifically, what's your favorite thing about Mel? Physically or emotionally? I will say, okay, let's say physically. Like, I have no complaints when it comes to like Mel's physique. It's like I always say that. Mm-hmm. Or your face. I mean, just like, I like how you look.
Yeah.
Like, I like Mel's body a lot. Like, I like his arms. Like, you have like no body hair. Mm-hmm. Your skin is all soft. You have a nice smile.
Keep going.
It's very like he's like Superman build. Like I just like it. Like I don't know. About you emotionally, I like that. Y'all, Mel just has a lot of patience. Not to say that I like lack patience, but I just think like one thing I like about you is that, yeah, like let's say we get into an argument, you might be like mad in the moment and like you aren't hearing me out, but you'll like when you have time to reflect, you always come and like see my side. Like you take the time to like try to see where I'm coming from or change your perspective. It's not just like, this is the way I was raised, or you're right, I'm wrong, you're wrong, I'm right. Like it's none of that. Like you always just try to see the other side.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Ideally, when we have like our arguments where we bicker, I would prefer to acknowledge what the issue is and then separate, because then I can like actually think about it from her perspective. Even if I don't agree, I can at least see it from her perspective and apologize for how she's feeling from her perspective. Like that's how I think apologies are. I'm not just going to apologize for what happened or what I said, because sometimes it was warranted or sometimes I really meant it or whatever the case may be.
And I don't like when people, sometimes I tell Mel, like, I feel like you're just apologizing to shut me up, and I hate that.
But I always tell her I don't do that. Like if I'm going to apologize, it's because I see your side and I'm apologizing for the way I made you feel. And I even teach our kids that. I'm like, don't just come say sorry to me because you feel like that's what you're supposed to say. Or I'm not going to just say sorry to you because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to say. I want to see your side and understand how you feel. So obviously that doesn't always happen in arguments. Sometimes we go at it and then I finally have time to separate. Then I come back like, you know what, babe? I do see what you meant and I apologize for blase, whatever the case was.
Blase.
Blase.
Wait, they didn't ask, but what is your favorite things about me?
Well, I mean, I think we both have the same way. If you watch the podcast, you saw our Leo Moons makes us very vain. So I feel the same way in like loving her body, loving her physique. Like literally, I love everything about how she looks. How could you not? Then emotionally, I think what I love the most about her is that she pushes me, you know, to be a better man or be like the version of a man that I should be. And I think that if I were just out here in this world, like without her, I still would have a lot more maturing to do in my life. But she's like really pushed me into being not forcefully or not trying to change my like who I am as a person. Like I always tell her, whatever there is about me that you have a problem with, if it doesn't affect my morals or who I am as a person, I'm going to change that for you immediately. And I think that the way that she voices those things and pushes me to be better, I appreciate.
Really? Mel always says, he's like, at the end of the day, like a man doesn't want a woman that's just like a pushover. Yeah. As much as you wanted people say like be his piece, I feel like when you're his piece, like you said, yeah, like you're gonna get.
Yeah, I don't think that a woman should be a man's piece, because if you look at even the memes on social media,
that's why he
it's
left
like
me.
And it's like, this is how a man would live if women weren't around. And it's like a blow-up mattress with a U-Haul box as a nightstand. Like, that's literally how men would be without women. So I think that women, like a good woman, is going to add that substance to your life. And that's why you see a lot of times on TikTok, like, there's houses where people live together, man and woman, but it does not look like the man lives there at all. That's what a woman does, is she creates the home. And then as a man, you just, you know, do what you can to keep it running and, again, keep her happy. But that's just how I was raised. A lot of men, I'm finding out recently, weren't raised to put women first, but that's the way I was raised. So,
Ladies, at the end of the day, men bond with you through their vasopressin levels, and that's literally like their stress hormone. Like you bond to us by us stressing y'all out.
Honestly, I mean, that's why you see a lot of times like men will be like attracted to like the more dominant woman because they provide that level of stress that we need, because as men, we like to accomplish goals. We like to, accomplish goals that you set for us. And if a woman's just sitting around without anything for you to accomplish, we just feel useless.
Men love y'all. That's the summary of this. Yeah. You know, you mentioned like my looks. Someone said, does Mel ever miss your original face and body? And please don't take this as hate.
I mean, no, I don't think I've ever said that. Not that I have a problem with before or after or anything. I just, no matter what, I've always thought you were beautiful. So
I just think like even watching our old videos, even like you look different, you know, like just naturally, like you're gonna change your look and like as you age and stuff. And for me, I think when you see someone every day, like, do you even notice that big of a difference? I feel like when you see someone every day, like you don't even notice.
Honestly, guys, when it comes to cosmetic stuff, like I'm not ever gonna say anything because that's first of all, it's not my place as a man. Like I wouldn't go to her like, hey babe, do you mind if I get a buzz cut? Like that's me changing something cosmetically about the way I look, or if I'm like, babe, I want to shave off my chin hair.
Well, some men are like that. Maybe that's why women ask me, because they like their men have to get permission to like change the way
I
they
guess,
look.
but I just feel like as human beings, like we have to be comfortable and happy with the skin that we live in. So if that means me shaving off all my facial hair and going completely bald, and that's what makes me happy, she's going to support that, whether she loves how I look or not. She's going to support it, and that's just how we are in our relationship. I just want her to be happy at the end of the day, because when she's not, I'm the one who has to hear about it. Y'all don't have to hear about it. So
you know, a lot of people are commenting on my last video saying like I have body dysmorphia and that I'm like tweaking out, getting all this work done. Which to me, I'm like, are we watching the same video? Like I literally just got my boobs reduced and lifted again. So like, as someone who knows me in real life, like, do you think the things that I changed were warranted, or do you think I'm tweaking out?
I mean, not at the beginning, before I was really knowledgeable in any of this stuff, I was like, you're crazy. But that's because all this stuff was new. But the more that like you explain to me and I start to understand like everything, you know what I mean? I'm like, it all makes sense, especially when it comes to like reductions and stuff like that. Like I understand how much weight that can be on a woman. And so the fact that it's even covered by insurance in most places just lets you know that it's something that is warranted for a lot of people. So I mean, I respect it, and at the end of the day, like I said, I want you to be happy. So.
I know, and clothes fitting me like Mel would see, like clothes like just wouldn't.
I mean,
fit me
I understand
right.
all that stuff, so it's it makes sense. But it's hard for me to understand because I always make fun that I'm like the model size. Anything that's XL, I know it's going to fit me perfectly. So I'm like, a lot of that stuff didn't like connect in my brain for a long time because I just never had those issues.
When he says model size, like he's like when you look at the measurements of an extra large. Like sample size, like
like I know if I get an XL from anywhere, it's going to fit me perfectly.
Literally, he's so lucky. Like I'm like, that's how it feels to just order clothes and everything fits you right.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, you don't want to try on this stuff. I'm like, no, I don't need to try it on.
No tailoring, like everything just fits. He drives me crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing too. Like Mel, like we're from a small town, like. You don't really see too many surgery, or like people aren't open about surgery. And that's what I was explaining to Mel when I first started getting work done. Like, when I was like first wanting to get my BBL, he's like, you know what, that's so crazy. Cause people are in my comments like, does Mel like force her to get these things done? I'm like, literally my first BBL, I was like about to cry. Was like, don't do it. And cause like
we literally like the night before her surgery, we like sat on the bed and I like was like hugging her.
I know,
like,
he was like, don't do it. And the thing is, like, I think, especially for you, we're from Ohio and stuff. You don't see like surgery like that.
No, you don't see good surgery.
You don't see. So that's when you like look at a girl and know she has surgery. It's because it looks bad. It's because she looks botched. So I feel like for men, a lot of men who are like against their women doing anything, it's like when they think of like getting work done, they think botched.
Yeah, because people weren't talking about it on social media. All I know is bad surgery. So the first time she was going in, I'm like, please don't do it. Like, you're going to end up looking crazy.
Side note, that's actually like one of my biggest pet peeves is like when a woman says her man won't let her do something. It's not even like cosmetic work when they're like, my man won't let me dye my hair. My man doesn't want me to cut my hair. I'm just like, girl, fuck your man.
Yeah,
I just
don't think that's, I don't think that's love.
Like, I don't know.
Like, if you're coming to your partner about something that you're happy about or excited about and they're like, no, you can't do that, or I don't think that's love.
Everybody's relationship is different. So I mean, some people, some people view that as love, like being controlled like that and being told what to do, like they view it like, to them that's love. So I'm not gonna judge it, but like for our relationship, I think just having freedom and having like bodily autonomy is like a big thing for us. Like being our own individuals aside from this marriage is very important to us. Someone asked, do you guys ever joke around? You two are so serious all the time on video. You know why? Because ain't nothing funny anymore, okay? Life got too real. I swear to God, life got too real. Nothing's funny anymore.
I feel like we don't even be that serious.
I know. We don't do like silly pranks. We don't like,
And I don't really be in like, we don't do like videos, dancing. Like we don't even do sit down videos either. So like most of the times when you guys see me in vlogs, I either don't know that I'm actually in the view of the camera or I'm like occupied with the kids. So I'm like, I'm not like, worried about how I look on camera. So I think that might be some reason why you guys feel that way. But I remember there was a vlog you posted a little while ago. I think we're coming back from somewhere. We went to that Heaven on a Fork. And literally, there's these clips of her and KK like trying these snacks, and I did not know I was on camera. So I'm literally on my phone, like looking super angry, and I watched the vlog back, like, babe, I didn't.
I know, guys. His natural face is very angry, and I'll tell him that. I'll be like, babe, fix your face. Like, I feel like I don't have the resting bitch face you do.
Yeah. But I have aggressive eyebrows as well.
So I'll tell him, I'll be like, babe, relax your face, or like, babe, you look mean. Like, relax.
Yeah, but I mean, we joke all the time. Like, literally, I was raised in a family who cracks on each other.
Yeah, I feel like we joke a lot.
Yeah,
like,
so me and her crack on each other all the time. Like,
I feel like we're definitely like best friends first.
Yeah.
Before like husband and wife. So I just feel like husband and wife sounds so serious. I don't like that, husband and wife. Like,
yeah, I mean, we definitely joke around all the time. But the thing about me and her is that we're not goofy. You know what I mean? I don't mean that in a bad way, but we're just not like those type of people that would be like, you know, laugh at like us dancing silly and stuff like that. Like,
I don't want you to shimmy and jimmy and like
me and her I'm good. We're not goofy people, so that I think that's why. And I'm not saying goofy in like a bad way, like, oh, you a goofy, like, you know, the New York slang.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying like that's just not our dynamic. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're just not goofy people.
I feel like we're goofy.
I mean.
Are we not?
We're like goofy with the kids. Like we'll use voices and stuff with the kids, but I don't know. I just feel like I see some of these.
You'll literally ask me if I want dessert.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like I see some of these TikTok couples and I'm like, you know, it looks like two friends from school. Like we're like more like a different like best friend level, you know, like just not goofy. Like we crack on each other more than like being goofy together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I won't be running down the aisle at Target like, hey, which I think, you know, it's funny, but it's just not us.
Yeah, like we wouldn't like really make content like that. What is your version of the best date night?
My version of the best date night would be to have someone come over for the kids a little bit earlier, like
childcare for the morning,
like 4 or 5 o'clock.
That'd be mine.
We head out early before the dinner rush. We go to a nice dinner where we don't have to worry about reservations or waiting because it's early. We go to a nice dinner and we go to a little after spot, maybe like cocktails or even a movie or something like that. But getting back home around like 10, 11 o'clock so that we still have time to like chill at home, like on the couch and watch our movies like we do. Because that's honestly like my favorite nights with us is just being in the house, you know, and watching movies cuddled up on the couch and just kikiing while we're watching TV. But combining that with like actually a night out, like going out, feeling fancy, getting dressed up, but then having time to come home and not feel like it's too late to continue the party. Yeah,
guys, Mel and I, like, we love to eat.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of our date nights and stuff, like even like midday lunch dates, like it's like going out to lunch. And guys, Mel just recently started liking sushi. Like he loves raw fish, like sashimi. And this is very different for Mel. Like he just started liking it when we went to New York. You had a bite of Danny's like food.
Yeah, that's when I started to try more. I used to, for the like past couple years, I would eat spicy tuna. So I might have a spicy tuna roll. Like, I definitely would get spicy tuna crispy rice, but now I'm like eating everything. You know, whatever comes to the table, I'll try it as long as it's not crab or shrimp because I just don't like shellfish. But other than that, I'm eating whatever. Like
jalapeno, yellowtail, like.
Yeah, and I literally crave it every day. So that would probably be like my perfect day. That's going out for sushi. Then we go like grab a couple drinks, come back home a little bit tipsy, get in our comfy clothes while the kids already been put to sleep while we were out. And we just relax on the couch until we're ready to go to sleep.
Sounds like a nice day. See, for me, I love, like you guys know I love to sleep in. Like for me, I'd rather have childcare secured in the morning.
I'll get up with the kids.
That's the thing, Mel, that's one thing, guys. Like Mel, like we could be out until 4 a.m, like lit, and Mel will still get up with the kids, like no problem. And I'll be like, man. Super dad. How do you guys keep up with intimacy? I feel like every long-term relationship, it becomes routine.
I mean, I think that routine is good. I think that having, even when it comes to intimacy, I mean, there's going to be periods in a relationship, like you said, when you're in a long-term relationship where things do become routine. And sometimes they need to be routine because you have a lot of stuff going on in your life or you just have a busy schedule. So keeping it routine works. I say the best part for us is just missing each other. So like even if you guys both work from home or you're both home a lot, having time where you're spending time out of the house, or I might go out the house, or you know, when I have work and stuff like that. So those times like kind of raise our intimacy. And then we just, I don't know, sometimes I feel like we just go periods where we're okay with the routine.
Like long time, I feel like just also just not doing nothing.
Yeah, or not doing anything. But you know, it's just, I don't know, it's it's kind of a hard thing to say because it's within you and your partner to discover how to, reignite that flame.
And I feel like, again, like life comes in seasons. So it could just be a season where you guys are both really busy and that's just like not like something on your mind right now. And I just feel like it's different for men and women. We touched on it in the podcast, but I feel like as a woman, like when I have a lot on my plate, I have a lot to do. I feel like my partner's not hearing me out or whatever. I don't feel like being intimate. Like I don't want to do that. Like I would just rather just be by myself and go to sleep. So I think that's also like, is there something causing that? Like maybe a mental block or...
There definitely needs to be a conversation had. Like if you're feeling like things are being routine or like...
At least I was still doing it.
It's just not like, the sex drive isn't as high or like it doesn't feel as freaky as it used to. Then you guys need to have a real conversation, just like what I touched on the podcast. Maybe as the woman, mentally, your man's not doing enough to make you feel relieved of your stress enough to want to like, be comfortable and be freakier and things like that. So it needs to be a conversation had if you're feeling that way as well. Like sometimes we'll talk like, babe, things has been feeling just the same. Like I already know what it's going to be. And, so just having that conversation with each other also will help.
I already know what it's going to be. What, you want me to go put a wig on or something?
No, like, you know what I mean? Like how she's saying routine where it's like, like kind of like the breakdown.
I think also like scheduling sex, I know the idea of it sounds like crazy, but I feel like scheduling it like at least once a week, I think it's better than just like not doing it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because intimacy is good within a relationship. Like I feel like going a full week, maybe not even like sex, but going a full week without being intimate at all is kind of tough on a relationship, especially when you have kids or you're working a lot or you have a lot of things that you're juggling. If you can't get that release, with your partner, again, it doesn't have to be sex, doesn't even have to be an orgasm, just like intimacy.
Again, guys, these are seasons. If you're somebody who's like 2 months postpartum watching this video, this does not apply to you. Like we definitely went through like months. Like we've gone like a long time without being intimate.
Yeah, we're not talking about y'all. That's why I think a lot of people get confused when they watch our content or like hear like even some of the things I say. When I'm speaking to men in long-term relationships, fathers, people who are married. If you're young and horny, you take what I say with a grain of salt because our sex life when we first got together versus now is completely different. But that's, it makes sense.
See, it might be different, but I personally feel like just growing as a woman, like I enjoy sex way more than when I was younger.
Yeah.
I feel like literally, I really started to enjoy sex like recently. Like, is that crazy to like to that level?
The older you get, the more you learn what you
like your
really
body,
like.
what you like, and not only that, also like just my mentality towards sex has changed because when I was younger, I didn't feel like sex was that important in a relationship, and now I feel like it's very important because it's like you're my like husband.
Right.
Like what makes you different from like a guy friend, and it's like the intimacy.
Yeah. And that's even where I've grown as a man is kind of like seeing it from the woman's perspective, which is what I touched on in the podcast of like, it's more than just getting into the bedroom. Like this isn't like in college where you call a girl up and like when you call a girl like that, you know what the situation is. So it's like different. But when you're living with a woman and you're parenting with a woman or you're married to a woman, the way that you get her in the mood has to be set up throughout the day. You can't just expect her to just come into the bedroom at 10 p.m. and just be in the mood after a long day of doing whatever.
Some women are different.
Yeah, some women
I'm
are,
not like that, so he knows his woman.
Some women are different, but what I'm saying, for the most part, it's kind of like the female anatomy that in that way, they're going to be more open and more willing and more, the fire will be more lit the more they're turned on to you for the course of the entire day. Because it's not like you're doing those things like, oh, I'm going to clean up because I want to have sex with her.
Yeah, also if you feel that way as a woman, like he's only doing this to like get my pants off, it's also an ick. Like, get away from me.
That's what a lot of people are commenting too. I'm like, no, I'm not saying you're supposed to do these things every day. But I'm saying as a man, if your woman's like not in the mood all the time, or she's telling you she's tired, or she just doesn't feel as intimate as she is like sometimes, it's probably because you're not doing those things, which is what I was trying to say in the podcast that people didn't understand. I know women like kissing, I know women like touching, I know women like the same type of foreplay that we like.
People would comment like, I'm a woman and I love to just kiss.
Yeah,
I'm
like I know that, but what I'm saying is like, for Nas to come downstairs in the morning and the whole kitchen's already clean, she's like, ooh. You know what I mean? It's like that type of feeling, not like oh, he cleaned up, like, oh, I'm gonna let him get something tonight. Like, no, it's just like you're stacking up these things that you've just been doing naturally for her so that, she's more turned on.
Or I'm like, oh, I don't have to clean the kitchen tonight. I can just like go upstairs and get ready for bed and like relax.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
I'm down for a little pound town.
Right.
But no, on that topic, guys, like I remember just feeling insecure, just like talking to my friends, and they'd be like, oh my God, we have sex every day. And I'm just like, every day? Like, I don't even want that, you know? And that would make me feel like, am I like asexual? Like, am I not a sexual person? Like, what? Like, is there a problem with me? And
Some
it's like,
people
no.
aren't like that. I'm not even like that.
Yeah, some
I don't
people
want
like
sex every day.
And also, like, literally, I remember telling my girlfriends this, like, who are just like dating guys, and they'd be like, oh, I want it every day. And I'm like, girl, wait until you live with a man and you're with him every day for 3-4 years. I swear, they come back to me and they're like, Nazi, you were so right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, duh, when you just see your man once a month.
Of course you want to
Of course. But like, when he starts to, when you gotta deal with a man.
Yeah.
And deal with his socks by the bed every day and his wet towel on the floor, you'll be quick to be like.
And respect your partners too. Like, literally, look at how beautiful she looks, right? But there's still some nights where I'm like, babe, to be honest, I'm just not in the mood. And instead of being like, what kind of man? Like, you know how many men would want to, like, she's like, okay.
Yeah, you know how many men? What?
Like, you know, but you know, like, I've talked to friends who are like that. Like, bro, if I told my girl I wasn't in the mood, like, she'll be tripping. Like, you gotta respect your partner because it goes both ways. It can't be a double
standard, like men versus women, like.
Yeah, and it's not, and she knows that it's not because I'm not in the mood, because I'm not attracted to her. Like, I'll just be like, babe, literally the kids have been touching on my body all day. I don't want to be touched. I just want to be left alone.
Someone asked, how do y'all balance being parents and still finding time with just each other? I mean, again, a huge thing is the kids now going to school. That started in like August, September.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's seasons.
But that's also not something that a lot of people can relate to because we're both home. Like, we both work for ourselves. So like, yeah, the kids are all in school, so we can go on dates like in the middle of the day.
Yeah, a lot of people.
But that's not everybody's case.
Yeah.
What we've done now is like, we used to be like kind of carefree with their bedtime and stuff, but now we're like a lot more strict with getting the kids in bed earlier so that we have more hours to like be with each other before it's like too late. Like, we used to put them down at like 9:30. Oh, so by the time we were done with our like night routine, it's like 10:30. Then we would try and and then it's like too late. Now the kids are like, the babies are in bed at 7:30. KK's in bed like no later than 8. So like by 9 o'clock, we've already like taken our shower, done our skincare routine. So we have from 9 to like 11:30 ish. We spend time together. So that's how you just have to like schedule it.
Yeah, I think also like, again, you gotta let go of things being spontaneous when you're parents. I know that's like exciting and fun, but when you're parents with little kids, like this is the period of your life where things can't really be that spontaneous. And literally sit down with your partner on Sunday and look, it's like, okay, we can have a movie night Thursday.
Yeah.
Instead of just like going with the flow and being like, should we watch a movie? Oh wait, it's already 9 p.m. By the time we're done with the movie, it's gonna be like 11. Like, pre-plan. You gotta look at your schedules, and again, you gotta let that, let's just be spontaneous and go with the flow. Like, that's a thing of the past. Like, now you're parents with work, and like we just like, I don't know, like we just acknowledge that.
We just know that pretty much every night, unless one of us voices to each other that we want to do something else, after the kids go to sleep, we're together. So whether that means we're doing something together in the room, or we're cleaning together, or we're watching TV together.
Not always. Yesterday I worked out.
I said unless we like voice, like
I worked out.
Sometimes I'll be like, babe, you know, a new episode of my show just dropped, so if you want to do your own thing, then I want to watch this. But it's all about having conversations and communicating.
What's Mel's favorite dish of yours? I haven't been cooking like that, y'all. Like, Mel's kind of taken on the role of like cooking.
I don't necessarily have a favorite dish because it's not like we have something that like, you know, we recall to, you know what I mean, a lot that you make. Like, I love your chicken salad. Like, she makes chicken salad all the time, and she'll like make it for the week, so it's
and
like
he hates
nice.
Mayo.
I can come home and from the gym, and I have like a, you know, big old pot of chicken salad. You just made chili the other day; it was really good. I mean, Nas, a lot of the things, the difference between Nas and I in the kitchen is like when I cook pretty much, you know, similar things. She's the one who like goes on Pinterest and she'll cook like a new recipe. So that's like where our switch off is I'll be like the consistent chef of like cooking dinners. But if she's like, hey babe, I want to make this thing I saw on TikTok, she'll do that because, you know, she has more fun creating these recipes. I'm like, I want to just stick to what I know. Grill up some chicken breasts, make some sides, like simple stuff like that.
Yeah. While
she, you know, likes to be more experimentative. So I don't think that's why I'm like, it's not like a favorite dish. The first dish you ever made was that chicken piccata though.
I remember that was the first time I cooked for you.
That was a game changer.
That was really good. How do you separate your work life and your personal lives? We don't.
Yeah, I mean, all right.
We don't. And you know what, babe? I was reflecting on it. What?
I just hit the table.
Ooh. You know, I was like thinking about it, and like my childhood too, there was no work-life balance. Like our life was the restaurant. Like there was no like work hours. Like my parents were at that restaurant till closing, 10, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And like if I wanted to hang out with my parents, I would go to the restaurant. And like everything was revolved around the restaurant. Like I would eat dinner at the restaurant. If we were going to go to the mall, I would go to the restaurant first, and then we'd go from the restaurant to the mall. So like for me, I'm just like, there was never, like I was never even taught work-life balance. Like I don't even know what that is.
I mean, just the way our lives are set up is, you know, again, we both like have jobs where we work for ourselves. Like with my photography business, like during the day is usually when I would have jobs, and then when I come home, like I said, that time period after the kids are asleep is usually when I work and edit.
Yeah, you have to like edit the content.
Still same times where we're like watching TV and laying together and, you know, watching our movie, but I'll be sitting there on the laptop like editing at the same time. So there really is no like, you know.
I don't mind it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like with the kids, I do, just because like my kids deserve like my full attention. And that's why I feel like I've been vlogging them less. I've been like posting them less, and I just would hate for people, because I do feel like people might say in the back of their mind like, is Naz just like not with their kids, because they love to say that about me for some reason, because I have life balance of my personal life and my mom life. I do like to still go out with my friends and go to events and this, that, and the third. It's like, yes, I'm with my kids. I just like, why should some influencers have this boundary where they don't post their kids at all? So like to me, it's like Kayvon will literally sometimes say like, I don't want a picture, like get the camera on my face. So I never want to feel like I'm exploiting my children.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like the thing is, when it comes to Mel and I, it's like we never look at the clock and it's like, oh, it's 9 p.m. We're not gonna work. Like if something is due, if rent is due, rent is due. Like we are gonna like work.
And also,
doesn't matter what time it is.
Everything we do is like together. Like I'm basically like an in-house assistant when it comes to Naz's business. So again, that's another thing where it's like hard to separate work and business, because if, you know, every group message she's in for her job, I'm in it as well. So I know if she's doing something,
like,
if she's
you know,
busy, if she can't answer, I'm responding for her. Or I'm like, hey babe, make sure you text back in the group because they're asking this question. Or if they text like, hey, did something get delivered? And I know that I'm the one who brought it in the house, I'm responding back like, yeah. So we really are like a team and a unit, like when it comes to our foundation and like her business, which is why we've never made those things where it's like change the YouTube name or I want you to go by Nazanin Wade. Like I know that Nazanin Kavari is her brand. So that's why everything we do is to uplift that brand. So there really is no separation.
I think, and then that's the thing too, like when I think back to my parents' restaurant, like when you're building something that's literally putting money into your family's pocket, I feel like it's different. If I was working for, let's say, a company and it's like my hard work was benefiting the owners and the CEOs, that. There's so many beliefs in this video. Right. But yeah, obviously I'm gonna be like, it's 5 p.m. It's 4:59, my computer's closed. But the difference is, it's like any money that we make is literally going into our kids' savings, it's going into their college fund, it's going into experiences and trips and traveling for our family. Like to me, that's why I'm like, I love what I do, so it's not a burden to me. Like I will, like back in the day in like high school, I was editing at like 2, 3 in the morning before school. Right. Like to me, it's like when you love what you do, and it's literally like, it's just such an ideal situation. Same with you with like freelancing. And sometimes Mel will get booked for events that will go until like 1 in the morning. And then they'll like pay extra to have that content in the morning. Yeah. So like Mel doesn't have like a separate editor. It's like all him. Either you go to sleep and then wake up really early and edit, or
so I mean, there's no separation, but that's also just the way we like it and the way our jobs are set up. Like a lot of these questions, you guys have to understand that we're not living like the typical life where we're clocking in, clocking out. So again, like there's literally times where I'll get hit up like, hey, are you busy tonight? I need a photographer tonight.
Like super last minute.
You know, babe, we gotta figure something out with the kids or whatever the case may be, but like, I gotta go work. So that's just how it is.
We're like both the same in that way. Yeah. Like when it comes to like work, like whether it's him or me, something comes in last minute, we're like, go. Yeah. Like we'll figure out whatever is going on in the home base. Like you just go and do what you want to do. I truly think I couldn't be with a partner that would like guilt me. Because I hear that from some women, and like their partner's like annoyed that they have to take pictures of like their food when it comes or whatever. Like to me, it's like, okay, then we're just like not.
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of the job.
Or like annoyed that they have to take my photo. I'd be like, nope, next one.
Yeah.
Next. On to the next.
It's a part of the job. It's the day to day.
This one's for you specifically, Mel. Did Mel ever experienced burnout being a stay-at-home dad?
Yeah, this year it really like hit hard.
I think somebody else asked too, like dealing with like backlash or like a stigma from being a stay-at-home dad, like how that was.
I mean, I think that since the twins were born, I didn't really deal with any stigma of being a stay-at-home dad because obviously having twins and all that stuff is hard. Even if we were to hire a nanny, like bringing in a nanny to watch twins is not easy. Like it's just not easy. Even on her parents, like from any standpoint, just having twins is not easy just because you have two babies that are the same age with the same intelligence level who, you know, it's a tug and pull situation. So I never really felt like the stigma thing when it came to that, especially with social media and TikTok. Like you see a lot more stay-at-home dads just because, you know, thankfully women are in a position where they can make more money and they can make a provider salary. So it's opened the doors a lot more where you see that a lot more often. But I did experience burnout like this year just because I was just so tired of just being at home or feeling like I was always like so available. And like sometimes I want to have these type of conversations where I can relate more to the men than the women in a lot of situations. And so that's where I was really experiencing a lot of the burnout. Like I would come to her like stressed out, like, babe, like I'm so tired of having conversations with these men at the school and they're like, how's work? And I'm like, oh, well, you know. So like I did experience it, I guess from that standpoint. It was a little bit of the stigma too of feeling like I just wasn't doing enough. And so that's why this year I posted on my story like the 1st or 2nd of January or something like this year I'm going to really be focusing on my business. I'm going to be focused on myself and getting my own stuff off the ground. And you know, with a push from Nas and then me just being disciplined, you know, I definitely made that happen this year to where I feel like I have a life outside of the home where I'm doing stuff, I'm making money and I'm working and I feel, you know, good and I feel a lot better. And then I also know that, you know, I'm still in the position where my kids can count on me knowing that I'm here every day and things like that. So it really is kind of like a double-edged sword where you have to remember like you are still providing something as a stay-at-home parent. You're still providing something for your family. You're still being there for your kids and you're saving your household a lot of money because if I weren't doing it, somebody else would have to be here doing it. And that's money that we have to pay. So yeah, I mean, I definitely experienced burnout, but it wasn't until this year where I was just like, I'm so tired of this every day, like trying to figure out something to do. I'm cleaning the house 3 times a day. And then Nas is also like working at home. So I want her to be able to come out of her office and come downstairs to a clean kitchen. But it's like, there's 2 babies running around and they're making it impossible to clean. So it was just a lot this year that's changed now.
Not someone mowing their lawn while we're filming. Well, gotta go inside, y'all. Ooh. Our neighbors just had landscaping come, so we had to move inside, but we're almost done with this video anyway. I think for me too, I had to like give you some grace because sometimes like when you would like express your concerns to me, like I'd be quick to like jump to my ego and I'm like, well, I'm the one working and you're gonna sit here and complain and blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm like, wait, if roles were reversed and you were the woman and I was the man, like it would not fly me saying that. Yeah. Like if I was to go to my girlfriends and say that my provider husband yelled at me in that way and like didn't acknowledge my feelings and was like, shut up, I work. Mm-hmm. Like that would not fly. Like most people know that the stay-at-home parent also has their trials and tribulations. Like it's like a different kind of work. Like you said, it still is a job at the end of the day because if we were to pay a full-time nanny, like it would be. I
mean, there's literally a job title for it, a nanny.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, but I think that happens a lot of times where it's that double standard because this is such a new thing where, again, women are making a provider amount of money where in the past, there wasn't jobs that really allowed you guys to do that. So I think that the stigma and the double standards that it's hard for people to get over, like people like being like, oh, this trip was sponsored by Nas. But I'm like, if there's a stay-at-home mom and she was getting bags or going on trips with her provider man, you wouldn't be like, this is provided by your husband. Yeah. So I think that it's just kind of reversed in that regard. So that's why I'm like, I just have to ignore the people who are being negative because this is what works for our family and this is what's getting us by. And like I said in the podcast, there's been instances where I went out to try and get full-time jobs and it just throws off our family dynamic and everything that we have going. So it's just easier this way. So I just block out everybody who's saying negative stuff at this point because unless y'all gonna come here and help us, then don't say nothing.
And I just think too, jobs aren't going anywhere. Granted, you could argue you would have like gaps in your work resume, but you know, Mel being like a freelance videographer, photographer, it's like like, again, work is always there. Your kids are going to be babies once.
Right.
So for me, like, even like a stay-at-home mom who might be experiencing burnout, like, it's not forever. Like, one day your kids, like, right now if you're watching and you're a stay-at-home mom with like really young kids, like, one day they're all going to be in school. And that's going to be 8 hours of your day completely free for you to go to the gym, do what you want. I mean, you know, I also believe stay-at-home parents should have more help. I do think, like, I don't see anything wrong with stay-at-home parents having housekeepers or whatever, part-time nannies, so that they could have like a second hand in the house. Yeah. I think people just underestimate how many hands it really takes to like keep a household running smoothly without everybody experiencing burnout. So, I mean...
Well, that was the thing too, is remember a few videos ago you were talking about how tired and overwhelmed you were, and then I got this bombard of comments like coming at me. I'm like, guys, she's complaining about her being tired and stressed. That has nothing to do with the lack of what I'm doing. So I'm like, why is everybody coming at me? Because I'm equally as tired. I'm equally as stressed.
I said that in my last video. I was like, again, if I was like a man and I was like, oh, work is stressing me out, no one would look to my wife and be like, you better start pulling your weight, or like, no one would do that. Like,
and I wanted to comment that, but I'm like, whatever. I'll just let people think whatever they think. But I'm like, it doesn't have to be a competition. Even within your own relationship, if your partner comes to you and they're complaining that they're tired, and you feel like you worked so hard this week and you're tired too, accept the fact that they're saying that they're tired. Yeah. And you're tired too. It doesn't have to be I'm more tired than you because I did this and this and this and this. Like,
that's something I feel like I struggled with in our relationship. It's just kind of like turning everything into a competition, like, oh, you're this, well, I'm that. Like, it's childish. Even just aside from your romantic relationships, even like with a friend, like even I found myself saying that to people like didn't have kids, like, you're tired, wait till you have kids. Right. And it's like, girl, shut up.
We're all living within our own body, within our own lives. I can wake up, and just me waking up at 7, I can complain that I'm tired. And you know what I mean? It's not about, I woke up at 6 and I'm more tired than you. Like, who cares, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
this is gonna be the last one we'll answer. Do y'all regret Mel getting a vasectomy?
No. I don't regret getting a vasectomy. The only thing that we say sometimes is that I regret not freezing some sperm, because that was an option. But
did he talk to you about it?
No, it wasn't something that like we sat down like, this is another option you could do, because I think I would have came home and had a conversation with you about it. But in hindsight, it was an option and we didn't do it. Not even that we want another child, but just, you know, I mean, there's times where we look at our babies like, oh my God, like they're about to... like they're officially like out of like infant sizes, and you know, we miss like little bits and pieces of having a baby, so it would have been nice to have that option. But I truly don't think, like, even babe, think about realistically our lifestyle. I don't think more kids would make sense. I know, because like the way we see our future with our kids, like adding more, just like I want to give a lot of attention to my kids and like pour into my kids, and I feel like it's already like so difficult with 3, 4, or even 5. That's the thing, when you know you can conceive twins, like I know my body can conceive twins, so like what if we tried for a next one and I had twins? That'd be 5 kids. I have no desire, I've never had the desire to have 5 kids. I think I definitely don't regret it. I really feel like if you didn't get the vasectomy, we'd probably have a pregnancy scare or 2 by now. Yeah. Just knowing us. I just love that I don't even have that like mental burden on top of everything else I have to worry about the potential of being pregnant. Yeah. Like that on top of it, like it was fun at first, but like it's just, I just don't have that desire to even be like. I always tell my friends and stuff, I'm like, I don't get baby fever anymore. Like I have enough babies and enough stuff at home. Yeah. I enjoy holding and picking up like our friends' babies, but I don't really get baby fever. So, and I commend all parents, but especially parents with more than 3 kids, because that literally is a lifestyle change, like a new type of vehicle. Like it's just,
we need a Sprinter.
It's just a lot. So I commend you if you have more than 3 kids. Commend parents in general, but if you have more than 3,
like multiples are just hard.
That is crazy, and I commend the hell out of you for supporting and raising a family of that size. Like, it's incredible.
I also it really made me like respect Mel too as a man, that he like, because I think a lot of men, they can just be so childish when it comes to a vasectomy. Like, you're taking away your manhood and all that. I think being a man, like for you to like not want to keep interfering with my body, like I already went through 2 pregnancies, a C-section.
There's so much that women have to do that throws off their hormones, or throws off their body, literally from like age like 13 or something,
Like,
when you start having
my period, like,
periods and
13.
taking birth control and all this stuff that messes with their hormones, then we're turning around and be like, man, women are crazy. Yeah, they are, because there's so much stuff that they're doing to prevent having babies and prevent all this different stuff that throws off their hormones. So for me as a man, especially after seeing her birth like twins for us, the least I can do is get a little snip and sit with some frozen peas on my balls for 24 hours. Like, it was not...
You said it was super easy.
It was not anything, even if it was painful, which is not painful at all for the men out there. It's literally not painful. The doctor walked in like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. Before I could even say I'm good, he did the snip. I was in and out of surgery within 5 minutes. It is not painful at all.
Also, guys,
but
like,
even if it was, it would be worth it seeing what she went through. Like,
so yeah, to me, that was just like such a turn on that like Mel took the responsibility in his hands. Like, that was my, like, I think that's the biggest thing with women. We're just like want our men to just take more responsibility for things. We're just tired of carrying the load, the mental burden. And that was like a huge thing that he did that like lessened my like mental load and my worries and my stress. And I think a lot of people fear vasectomy because like the idea of it is like so scary. First of all, it's reversible. And also the way a vasectomy works is like, think of like a straw. Think about bending the straw. Like, that's kind of how it is. Like, you're not like removing something.
And don't lean on it being reversible though, because it's not 100% and it's more painful. But what is it called for the woman can get? Like getting your tubes tied?
Yeah.
That's not reversible at all. So,
or like getting it removed.
Yeah, so that's like
your uterus removed.
That's why another reason why as a man, like, you should consider doing it. And it's just, I don't know, especially if you're married with a vasectomy, like it makes your life so much better. There's no fear of anything. So, you know what I mean? It's,
say it, babe.
It has its pros and cons.
You say it.
You know, a little oatmeal cream pie.
Babe, stop.
So like, there's a lot of benefits to it. And it's just, people think that it's like a dog, like you're taking his man, like they don't take your testicles out. They don't do anything. It's a small incision at the bottom of your shaft, and you can't even notice it. Like, to this point, if I look there, there's no...
It's like an ear piercing. That's how small the hole
literally
is.
And I feel the same way. The enjoyment, it still feels good. When you release, feels the same exact way. It's nothing. It looks the same when you release. Everything.
Like,
everything is the same.
You couldn't tell.
Exact.
Like, it's the same thing.
If this was a new woman and she didn't know I had a vasectomy, she would never know unless I told her.
Well, on that note, I think we're gonna end today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all your questions. Again, make sure you guys check out BetterHelp, link down below, and use my code to get 10% off your first month. And also be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for more videos. So yeah.
Let us know if you want to see a part 2. We could do like maybe different type of questions, maybe a little spicy version. Or I was thinking,
this was pretty spicy.
I was thinking a fun Q&A would be to have a Q&A with KK.
Aww.
That'd be fun, right?
KK,
like having him answering some questions. You guys send us some questions, and
I love my KK
because he's a very intellectual, very smart young
Some
man.
things he says, I'm like, huh? Like, how do you know that?
So I think that would be fun. So let us know what you guys think down below. Make sure you guys are not only subscribed to this channel, but subscribe to What My Sis Said as well. Every Tuesday, new episode comes out. So go catch that.
Love you guys.